Dear students, we shall begin in few minutes. A very good morning to all. Welcome to today's webinar, Emotional Intelligence and Stress Management, Part 3 of the Corporate Dynamics series. Mission Skills is an initiative by Nest Academy for encouraging the Aspire young minds to develop and enhance their next-gen skills. This initiative is for the youth from colleges across the country. Before we start, let me explain how you can talk to us during the webinar. If you have any questions during the session, just put your questions in the Q&A box. In between the sessions, we will also be using polls. A pop-up box will open on your screens. All you have to do is select your answer. The topic for today is emotional intelligence, or EI. It is the ability to understand and manage your own emotions and those of the people around you. As quoted by Hans Selye, it's not stress that kills us, it is our reaction to it. So in order to understand more about these topics and work on our emotional intelligence, we have with us Mr. Alistair Rodrigues, Assistant Manager at Citibank. He's involved in high liaison with onshore and offshore, which is essential to understanding work styles of people at different levels and cultural backgrounds that globally empowered him during the career stint. Over a period of time, he has developed interpersonal skills of functioning in a team and a competitive environment without affecting the harmony and basic essence of team goal and objectives. Increased use of varied financial systems and software have given him a better understanding of the functionality and thereby relevant changes to enhance productivity. We have with us Mr. Rodrigues. The platform belongs to you now. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you very much, Zai, for the introduction. And I welcome all the students, the panelists, everybody who has been a part of this. I really thank Harish sir, Vipul sir, Aditya, Runaman, Amit, Sneha, Anjali for being with me during the planning and the discussions and all that we had. And I really like to thank everyone for this opportunity. First of all, for me to do something that I really like doing, that is reaching out to people. So right now I'm in the mood of sharing something very real with all of you. So to start off, I'm just like any other person in this room, dealing with life issues, and there are some hits and misses. I get anxious as well. Right now, my heart is really pumping because this is something that I'm doing for the first time, and there are times I go completely blank. My heart races. I feel running away from the situation sometimes, and pressure gets to me. But what happened is when this lockdown started, I had this feeling in my heart that there is a way that I could reach out to people, because there are many people out there feeling anxiety. There might be so many people who are miserable because of this. So what I really did is I made a small prayer that day and I asked God to make me useful so that I reach out to at least one person. I can see that the participants are increasing. It's 323 and it'll keep on increasing. But my goal is to, if I can make sense of whatever I am going to talk today to at least one person, and I'll feel that I am really satisfied and I could make a difference. You know, it's the most amazing feeling that any designation or money could possibly offer, is being able to reach out and help in a small way. So I am going to be sharing my screen. And yeah, before I share my screen, the Q&A box is for you guys, all the 326 participants. They keep on increasing on different platforms on Facebook. So what I want you guys to do is follow one ground rule, that is, I cannot see you guys, right? And I'm really dying because I cannot see you. And I would really wish that I could have seen you and been right in front of you. But what we're going to do is the Q&A box is for you guys, okay, to message whatever you feel so that I can feed off your energy. All right. So if I say hi, I want to see everybody say hi in the Q&A box. Can everybody like just type in what they're feeling right now so that I can feed off your energy? Can we do that? Okay, we have Shruti, Sneha, Ankit. So you are the fastest fingers. All right. All right. So is anyone, so everybody from India, or is there anybody else from another country? I also can say hi. We have Mansi. Then there is a anonymous attendee also who's all right. So good. So I want you to be extremely participative and feel that you are right in front of me. I'm going to be constantly viewing my Q&A box to gain any inspiration and motivation. If you have any words of advice from me, if you want to repeat something, and I promise I won't be able to see through all the messages, but I will just pick a little energy from that chat box, which is really important for me. Okay, so now before that, we are going to have a poll, all right, just to set the mood right. And the question is, okay, let me just share my screen first. Yes. So there are these male attendees. And so how many of you have watched Friends? It is a sitcom, American sitcom that's on Netflix right now. I'm a big advocate of Netflix. So yes, you already know what I'm asking. How many of you guys associate yourselves with either Ross, Joey, or Chandler? And the females, how many of you associate yourselves with Phoebe, Monica, or Rachel? Because they are extremely amazing characters. The way the characters have been developed is fantastic. And you, some way or the other, you find yourself being one of them. Ross is spooky, Joey is the ladies' man, Chandler is the guy with sarcasm, Phoebe is the boho woman, Monica is the cook and she has OCD, and Rachel is she wants to make a lot of money. So, how long do we have till the poll gets over, Jai?
Yes, sir.
How long do we have till we wait for the poll?
No, we can end the poll. We've got a lot of responses.
All right. All right. So what I can see is there are from the male population, I see that mostly
Girls are competing.
yeah, mostly everybody have like given equal to Ross, Joey, and Chandler. All right, but for some reason Chandler is what everybody relates to, and I feel that everybody has a lot of funny sarcasm in them. Then from the female attendees, oh, Monica is a clear winner over here. She's like 47%. So a lot of women with OCD over here, I think, and who really love to cook. All right. So thank you very much, students or folks or people or men and women. All right. So thank you for the post. Should I share results, Jai ma'am? So excuse me, I'm going to be asking questions also because it's the first time I'm doing something like this. So, all right. Okay. So I know that the population loves Ross, Joey, and Chandler, and the females love Monica a lot. But then Phoebe and Rachel are also equally important. Um, all right. So now we are going to be sharing, I'm going to be sharing my screen with you. All right. So emotional intelligence and stress management. So it's the 2nd of June 2020, and we have the world at our fingertips. We have social media, and it just won't stop surprising us. And haven't we made perfect use of this lockdown? We've in fact made more phone calls in terms of video calls rather than normal calls. We've cooked more, and it has made us feel we could be the next big thing in the kitchen. We've also taken up to cleaning a lot. OCD, some of the women with OCD over here have been cleaning so much that our parents feel that we do not need a helper. Right now, because of this COVID situation, we clean anything and everything that enters our doors. I myself I find myself twice in the shower, and on days where there is water shortage, I just go in for a third time just in case I can't get the next day. And and to top it, we wash our hands right after taking a bath just to be safe. So one question to the audience over here: how many of you are on dating apps? Come on, raise your hand. Raise your hand. Say hi. Yes, I am. Like I find more people swiping right more now than we generally used to do. And this is the only reason being is to increase our chances of connecting with someone. I'm sure we all are thinking of our next big date. Come on, guys, keep the comment section busy so I can feed off your energy. So I sit near the window, and I feed off the surroundings and the goodness, and I feel good about the smaller things in life, like the bird drinks from a water dispenser that I kept. I go down and feed the local building cat. Um, and then when one of us goes down and hands out some food to the needy, whenever we have to go and get groceries, these are all the smaller things that we do. And let's not forget the latest curriculum that has been added to your series of Amazon Prime. Can you tell me what that new serial is? Guys, in the comment section, do you know what the new serial is on Amazon Prime that everybody is going gaga about? Patalok. So it's Bhavni Trivedi. So she's definitely the first person to say Patalok, and a lot of other people. Nikita, I think all the ladies over here in this group are pro for everything. Rushali, Apurva. All right. So I would like to say this to you, everyone, that we are in an era of extreme stimuli to all our senses. We are optimistic, experimental beings seeking adventure while we are trying to declutter our lives and be conscious about ourselves and our surroundings. You know, our innate instinct to create meaningful associations with human beings, adapting and tuning ourselves to make ourselves available to help in times of crisis. And of course, being loyal to our next Netflix and Prime subscriptions. We'd fight the whole wide world if that was taken away from us, right? Uh, okay. So if you are unable to accomplish any one of the above tasks in the list that I just mentioned, and it's not an exhaustive list, So I would recommend everyone to sit back for the rest of our conversation. And I'm sure that we can all have some fun and learning. So how many of you guys with me? How many of you guys with me to start this presentation? Fantastic. I really like the energy in the room. All right, that takes us to our first slide. What is emotional intelligence? Now, there are various definitions of emotional intelligence on the web, but I took the liberty to coin one myself, and I think I did a pretty good job. So here it is. It is the ability to garner various kinds of human emotions or behaviors, experiences, knowledge, and respond to making decisions with empathy or logic. Now you can write this down somewhere. I'll read it again. It is the ability to garner various kinds of human emotions, behaviors, experiences, knowledge, experiences of your personal life, experiences of personal of lives of others, your family, your friends, your workplace, knowledge that you acquire by reading, watching videos, visiting workshops, seminars, and respond to making decisions. Now, decisions that you make are sometimes real time, and sometimes you have the time to respond to those decisions. But the decisions that are made have to be with empathy, because we're dealing with human emotions, and sometimes with logic when emotions don't really matter. Um, so now, if we are not able to navigate this whole process of gathering information, of making sense of the information, what we have in empathy and logic, that's when we get stressed out and we cannot navigate through this whole process, and it becomes a total mess. So let's move on. So that's your definition. Once again, it is the ability to garner various kinds of human emotions or behaviors, experiences, knowledge, and respond to making decisions with empathy and logic. Long story short, we mostly find ourselves in these two situations. So sometimes we manage to sail through episodes of stress and make real positive and important decisions, and sometimes we even struggle. We struggle with with the mess that a thought makes, and it leaves us feeling terrible. So sometimes I used the wrong word. I couldn't control my anger. A bias that got into my way of decisions that left me feeling terrible. Sometimes even with friends, you have a bias towards a friend. At work, you have a bias towards an employee that curbs your decision making ability. Now, if you look at the screen, there are two emotions. Okay, there is a woman and there is a man. They both are dealing with a lot of thoughts, a lot of knowledge, a lot of information. But would you be able to tell me that the lady, what is the difference between the two? What is the difference between the two emotions? The lady on the left and the guy on the right. All right, are you guys there? Are you listening with me? So what I see is the difference is that although the lady has a lot of stress and a lot of thoughts going on in her head, um, so Khushi Sengar has mentioned that the lady is simply thinking, but the man is having tension. So in other words, Nishchal Sharma also said that stress and pressure. So, which is rightly said. So the lady over here has a lot of thoughts, a lot of emotions, a lot of chaotic expressions, and even the guy. But the lady has some sort of mechanism, and you find that the lady is in some kind of zone which is called stress, but the guy is in a space called mess. So the lady has some sort of mechanism to cope, or her brain is more tuned to process the patterns of energy and information. And the look on her face is more calm, and it feels like she's in control, right? It reflects on her face. But the guy is trying his best to make sense, but he may not be equipped with a strong mind or may lack information that would enable him to navigate through the signals the body initiates. Now, the body is constantly giving out signals, right? So it may not be only the signals, but the guy might be going through a lot of other stuff in his life. He may have a very weak belief system. He may be ignorant to his priorities. A lot could be at stake, like, or working against him, because you might have a very bad or a very unhealthy family environment. You may have a not so appreciative boss who always is biased, and a lot more. So we may feel that we have very limited choices to deal with. And then the most important thing right now is things that we can't see. So the thoughts, we cannot see our thoughts. And the same thing with COVID, right? We cannot see the damn virus, but it's making our lives miserable. Like, we have to think so much before we step out. We have to sanitize, we have to wear a mask and everything. But let me take you to the next slide, and we will see further of how what our mind is capable of. So this gentleman over here on your screen is Mr. Napoleon Hill, and he has made a very beautiful quote in the most simple terms. So he said, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve. So right now, I'm going to read this again. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve. But I would like to add a very small thing over here. It's not only the mind, but also the body. And why I say body is that we need to be extra grateful of having our two hands, our two legs, our hands that we can do so many amazing things with. We can do craft, we can use we can use our mobile phones, we can walk, we can travel, we can do so many things. But once again, in the comment section, I want you guys to tell me who is that one scientist who has done it without being able to walk or without being able to do anything with his hands, but he's done so many things with his mind. Who is that one scientist? Okay, fantastic. So Atharva Shinde, Nikita, and Tejaswini, again the women. I think we're celebrating Women's Day today because there are all women in the audience, and where are the men gone? So it's Stephen Hawking, who's been such an amazing person. So now one more, I'm going to be playing a audio for you, all right? And I want you to guess another amazing musician and what he did. Give me a second, just let me navigate to my YouTube. Okay. All right, I'm just going to play this track, all right, and I want you guys to guess it as to what that track is. I got a woman, well, just for me. Fantastic. So did you enjoy the track? So it is Ray Charles, and this guy was blinded at birth, but he's making such amazing music. And once again, Dhruvi Mandvia, I've Got a Woman. And I mean, I picked that song, I mean, out of nowhere. I've got a woman, and we all have women in our lives, and they mean so much to us, right? So yes, he's Ray Charles, who's also made lovely music. So now, once again, with this quote, that whatever your mind can conceive and believe, the mind and body can achieve. So I would like to say a few things, that if you believe in God, you would agree that he made man in his own image and likeness, in his own avatar, you may call it. And God loves us so much that he gave the most beautiful gift of our minds and of free will. Just imagine you want to be married to a supermodel. You know, what is the next best thing that you could do? You have a thought, you're married to a supermodel, you want to get married to a supermodel, but you need to work so hard that you manage to buy a Ferrari. And voila, a life hack, how to get married to a supermodel. The next one, you imagine yourself being in another country, like say Indonesia or Thailand or Dubai, or wherever you want to go. The first thing you would do is book air tickets, hostel accommodation. You travel light because you think that you can shop more. Basic plan to put in action, right? You want a higher paid job, you go for an interview. You imagine adventure, you increase your risk appetite. You want to do bungee jumping, you want to do skydiving, sky gliding, you increase your appetite to take risk. You imagine you want to have a lean body, those six packs, the bikini body and all that you guys are into right now. Even I wouldn't disagree, even I want to have six packs. You have to sweat it out in the gym. There is no shortcut. You imagine you want to take your camera with you everywhere. You go pro. The one thing that we also need to do is we seek happiness, right? And it is very important that while we seek happiness, we also work towards understanding the difference between happiness and pleasure. Now I would just leave this one small link for you guys to visit later on. I'll just reply to one of these answers over here so that you have this and you can view it right over here. So it is the difference between happiness and pleasure. All right. You definitely have to go and visit that link to see what it is. All right. But while we have a very strong mind, all right, don't you think that it also works against us sometimes? And that would take us to the next slide. And can anybody tell me what expression this is? Everyone in the chat box? Yes, so Ashi Jain has come with a very good question, how we can remove our fear. All right. So which takes me to this particular slide. So which means I'm in sync with you guys. The next thing is all about fear. So Jeet, Siddhi, Tejaswini, Rushali. So she's shocked, she's scared, she's frightened, she's surprised. Okay, so let me tell you this. I specifically picked this picture, all right, because it's obviously glamorous, but fear is never glamorous. So you know what? Please do not try this at home. Of course, I'm just kidding, but do whatever it takes to catch fear by the neck. Fear is a very negative emotion that you should just uproot and throw it out of the window. Now, I'm a very optimistic person. Fear also makes you very expressive. If you see that she has, this lady or the gentleman has a lot of emotions and a lot of expression in his face, and the glamorous and the glamour, the makeup and everything is just adding to that expression, right? But what happens is that although there is an expression, fear blocks us from our instincts to respond to stress. I'm sure we all agree to that fear blocks us from our instincts to respond to stress. So that takes us to the 4 F's of fear, or stress reactors. All right. So we all have that one universal word that we coherently use to jack up our statements when we are not in control of our reactions, not limiting us to that one particular word, if and when we may use to get the point across, and we could associate this with the 4 F's of fear. All right. So let's get on to the next slide. And come on, he is definitely worth a lot of claps, right? So what are the 4 F's of fear? So the next is Ross, and that's Monica over there for you. But what are these emotions, or what are these actions signify? So the first one, anybody wants to say what is the first F of fear? Anybody? Furious. Yes, he's furious. Joey is angry. Good. I want full sentences. Okay, I want Joey is angry. That's how you're going to get full marks in your exam. Joey is angry. Yes, perfect. So Joey is in a fight mode, right? So the first thing out of fear is, what you do is you react and you immediately jump to the conclusion to just whack somebody's head and blow somebody up. That's what you do when the first F. Then the next one is flight. Now, if you watch the Friends, Ross is a paleontologist, and he's trying to mimic like a bird from prehistoric age. So that is flight. You immediately, our first reaction to fear would be to go all in and go without making sense and consequences, and we get into a fight. The second one is flight. When I was in college and I saw a pretty girl, I was like gone. Even before I realized, I was 6 feet in the air catching an albatross in midair, back to home under my bed covers, wondering what I could have done or said to get a date with this girl. Ross over here is completely trying to mimic a prehistoric bird, making a really funny sound. Then there is faint and freeze. So by this picture over here, okay, we all know that scene from Friends where she's not fainting, but the only reason I see Monica fainting is when you shut down your senses, your sight, your breath, your ears, your sound, which means if you do not respond to your senses, you are going to faint. Okay, the senses in our body are there for a specific purpose. If you do not respond to these senses or these reactions, all right, you are going to faint. And and it's your body is going to be going into a shock and won't be able to take it, but the body does best, it faints. So now over here you see freeze. All right, so everybody some point in the time, some point in their life freezes, right? And like ice also takes some time to form, but sometimes we freeze instantly in the middle of the road, and we all have our reasons, right? Sometimes we we catch somebody red-handed doing something that they're not supposed to do, or sometimes you just freeze in front of a large crowd. Now Raj Kutrapali, he freezes when he sees a beautiful girl. So everybody has their own ways of responding. So once again, your fight, flight, freeze, and faint. All right, so these were the stress reactors. Now, would anybody be kind enough to tell me what could be the stress responses? Anyone in the Q&A box? What could be the stress responses that we are looking at? You know the reactors, it's fight, flight, faint, and freeze. What are the stress responders? How do we respond to stress? So somebody said sleep. Yes, sleep is very important. I really appreciate everybody saying that stress responders means that you need to get angry, which is a very important thing. I will touch on that soon. Be patient, eat a lot of food. Yes, eat a lot of food, keep calm, have dark chocolate. Yes, yes, yes. This is all very important. Eat ice cream, play PUBG. All right. So we'll go to the stress responders. Okay. And the first of which is, nobody told me about this. Nobody has told me about this stress responder, that is Jagrukta. Just give me a second, guys. Just give me a second. I think my screen stopped sharing, right? Okay. I think we're back. All right. Now, our body, all right, is designed in such a way that when we feel stressed out, it immediately kickstarts our body's defense mechanism and activates EI. So the first and foremost thing that any individual has to do when they are in a situation of fear or stress is to be aware of your situation. The very important thing is to be aware. If you want dark chocolate or if you want ice cream, you need to be aware at that moment what is going to help you, what is going to be that one thing that is going to help you channelize your stress. So the first thing is awareness. Now, our brain is wired with high levels of capacity, and it's constantly increasing capacity. It increases capacity with your age. with your knowledge, with your experiences of yourself, and going back to our definition of EI. So our brain is constantly making capacities, increasing our horizon, broadening our scope of understanding. Okay, we get into relationships, we learn. Okay, we fall out of relationships, we learn in the family, at work. So it is constantly increasing capacity. And our capacities are in three very simple uh, capacities, like curiosity. So the first one is awareness, then curiosity, all right. So this is one of the most evolutionary instinct of wanting to know more, okay, learning more and exploring more. uh, this acute interest in knowing only takes us further, being a super species. Now tell me one thing, if we weren't curious, we wouldn't have Stephen Hawking, we wouldn't have these amazing scientists and paleontologists and researchers. And right now, while we are talking, there are some scientists who are working for a vaccine on COVID. It is only their curiosity of understanding what nature holds for them. Okay, it is only the curiosity. I can't express more or stress more how important it is to be curious, to know. Um, the next one, creativity. Now, I have a funny thing about this, that now every woman and man are responsibly creating the most amazing genetic combinations known to mankind, that is giving birth. And the most creative thing about it is the artificial insemination or test tube babies, you know. Um, so what I would like to say is that if you are not bringing something into existence, all right, or if you're not creating something, the only way to do it is by getting married, because that's how you're going to create babies. um, I know I don't have to talk about marriage and creating babies and all that, because there's a lot of time for you guys left. So but it is very important. So you are the most amazing creation of your parents, all right. And right now, how are we being creative in this field is by insemination and test tube babies, the most amazing creative response to biology and science. The next one, collaboration. So guys, while I'm giving you examples of something which is really funny and has a funny side to it, I want you guys to also relate this to your own lives, your own areas of your lives which you feel needs a little bit of understanding, needs a little bit of creativity. So you can be curious when you're at work, you can be creative when you're at work, in your family, in your relationships, everywhere. And collaboration is the most important aspect of how you can respond to stress. Now, taking a cue from the above, creativity, okay, on performing the act of coitus, the man and woman form an amazing collaborative bond. Typically, females have two X chromosomes while male possess an X and Y pairing. Please Google this. It is the most amazing example of collaboration. And we can't do it alone, right? We need people around us to function. So how it is a stress responder, all right? Because if you are not communicating, if you are not sharing what is going on in your head, okay, it is going to be extremely difficult for you to cope with your stress. So why collaboration is because you come together, you talk about it. That is why there are these anonymous groups, right? Because they have so much of trauma that they need to share it with someone. All right. Now take a look at this pandemic. There are so many people instrumental in helping each other. All right. We have the doctors, we have the nurses, we have the people who are doing everything in their capacity to help people out there. There are people who are traveling from Mumbai to their hometowns. There are people who are getting into cars and helping these guys with food, water, everything. So collaboration is very important, a stress responder, because you have to communicate even in a relationship. When, like, say, a marital relationship, you're going through stress, you're having a bad time, but if you are not communicating, you are not expressing what you feel, okay, it's going to be crazy. The next one is adapt. So now, once again, okay, Indian marriages, all right, especially interreligious marriages, are a great example of adaptability. All right. Now I'm going to say out one quote related to, and I want everyone to just type in or fill in the blanks. All right. You don't marry the person, but dash dash dash. Come on. I want to see who gets this right. Once again, you don't marry the person, but dash dash dash. Come on. Anybody from the audience? Yes. Once again, Mohammad Ayan has said that you don't marry the person, but you marry the soul, which is also very important. But what I was looking for is that you marry the family, you know, and when you marry the family, it's a different ball game altogether, right? It's like upgrading the original software to meet new goals or purposes. You modify your entire thought process on so many levels. That's why Indians can survive in any condition, climates or social order, or whatever we may call it. So if you want to look at how you have to adapt, all right, you have to study an intercaste marriage, all right. That's how you know that adapting is so very important. And it's not adapting for yourself, but to the needs of others. Now, adjust. All right, I said it the other way around. So it is adjust. The next one is adjust. So local trains, take adjustments to the next level. The symptoms that we had before reaching the bone setter almost vanishes, and we feel like a new being again, right? How many of you have experienced bone readjustments in the train, or you've got a good massage, right? That is what adjustments can do in the train. So when we enter the train, ladies or gents, we squeeze our glutes and we enter and we push. But when we are sitting, like, it's a 3-seater, right? But then again, we have to adjust for a 4th person to come and sit down. Bear in mind, when you are adjusting, you are not compromising, but you are being considerate and mindful to the needs of others. That's what adjustment means. The next one is, it's self-explanatory, that with all these stress responders, okay, you're only going to get stronger and you're going to increase your capacity. So all these stress responders have one thing in common. It is always increasing your capacity. If you are aware, it's increasing your capacity to react in tight situations, to make quick decisions. If you are curious, it increases your capacity to know more, all right, to know about the situation, know about a particular event that happened, of how you need to respond in your societies, at your workplace, etc. Then creativity is the most amazing thing. You will not believe how much joy you will get when you create something of your own. Collaboration, you're also creating capacities, always creating capacities. Adjust, adapt, and grow stronger. So let's move on to the next slide. And I want everybody to pay attention over here. So as I said, awareness, right? It starts with awareness. But I want to show you guys a video, all right? And I say long story short because all this thing that I showed you in the previous slide has just one word for it, all right? And can somebody tell me what is that one word that I'm looking for? Your questions are your chat box, in your Q&A box. What is that one word that come on guys, in the chat box, what is that one word that I'm looking for? Awareness. How do you get into being aware of things? All right, so let me just lay it down for you over here. It is unagi. Now, if you really know what unagi is, please raise your hand and send in your comments because I really want to feel this right now. Come on, guys. I cannot see your hands, or I cannot hear you scream out at what unagi means. So what unagi really is, it is a state of complete awareness. So now, guys, I want you to sit back, probably get somebody who's in your house to sit with you and, get your mom or your dad or your brother, your sister to watch this video because it's really fun. And I really wish you guys could have good laugh. So this is where we all right.
Unagi is a state of total awareness. Okay, only by achieving true unagi can you be prepared for any danger that may befall you.
You mean in case someone's trying to steal your bamboo sleeping mat or your kettle of fish?
All I'm saying is it's one thing being prepared for an attack against like each other. Whole nother story being prepared for an attack. I don't know, like surprise! All right, you knew that was coming, but that doesn't mean you have unagi.
So did you guys enjoy that video? Yes, you do. So I wouldn't see any reason why you do not enjoy that video because trust me, another question, what unagi really means? Come on guys, what unagi really means? Come on, it is okay. Nikita Tiwari, once again, it's a freshwater eel, but we all know how Ross from Friends was so adamant about what unagi really means. So, which means that he was just excited about the whole thing, but he was not curious to find out what it really meant. So, you having information is also very important. You have to be curious, you have to have knowledge about what you're talking about, but we all had a good laugh at the end of the day, right? So I've watched this particular video many times and it always cracks me up. All right. So now, this is the most important slide and I want everyone to pay attention to the next, to the couple of slides that I'm going to show. And I want genius level attention, okay? Like with your attention, you can blow somebody's mind off or blow somebody's head off. That kind of attention. All right. So are we good? Are you with me, guys? Are you with me, guys? Okay. All right. So it's not going to be a very long time before we end our session. It's just a few slides. And I hope you guys are really enjoying this. I want you to mention in the comment section of what you feel and so that I can feed off your emotion. All right. So let's go to the next slide now. So now we've understood of what we need to do and what are stress reactors and what are stress responders, but how we need to do it, right? Now, please bear in mind that it's not a norm or something that we have to follow, but practicing something only makes us wiser and reduces the decision-making time in tight situations. All right. Um, So, and I'm sure because, like, you know, when you have an event management, people will organize events and host events, and you'll do a lot of things, and there will be a lot of chances and a lot of opportunities where you will have to reduce your decision making time. So as much it is important to jump and pole vault, it is also important to crawl and know that your crawling is fantastic, that you're really good at crawling. So the first thing uh, I would like to show on the slide is stop, decide. Now, do you think that this is complete or this is incomplete? Everybody, do you think that this is complete or incomplete? Is stopping and deciding the way forward? Yes, so Jagrati Sharma has said incomplete. So it is definitely incomplete because we cannot just stop and decide, right? We have to assess or think, which also means that सोच समझ के बोल और कर. So that takes us okay, 1 second. All right, so you know, when you are in complete harmony with yourself, okay, that's the time when you think, you say what you think, and you do what you say. You know, no matter what, don't let anyone take this away from you. So once again, you're always thinking, you're saying what you're thinking, and you're doing what you're saying. So you have to harmonize yourself. Most of the times we think something, we say something else, and we do something else. That's where all the chaos happens, right? The next one is know better to do better. So know better again is all about being curious, know your surroundings, know your audience, know the context, know that you have a right to express and that your opinion counts. The next one is mindfulness. Now, again, we need to practice mindfulness and make it our second nature. It's like you're working from home and you're in the middle of something really critical. Now, this happened something like a couple of days back. This is a true event that happened in my life. My mom, so I'm doing something very important on the computer. My mom comes in and she wants to show me a funny video, which is like less than 30 seconds. What would you do? Would you rather tell her that, like, you know, you're too busy and show her off and say that please not disturb me and this that, or you would be mindful and genuinely participate in her idea of fun for 30 seconds and then go back to your work? What is the outcome? You are again increasing your capacity to manage anything and everything that is thrown on you, to manage stress. So at that time, I was doing something really important with regards to work. I was working on something and I didn't want anybody to disturb me. But a 30-second listening to your mom showing you a funny video is a stress buster, right? You look at that, you engage with your mom, and you come back, and then you again start your work. This is a very small thing, and you will have to figure out as to what works well for you. Now, just give me a second, guys. Okay. I'm a little bad at maneuvering and figuring this out. I'm sorry, give me a second. All right. The little things really matter.
Sir, if you could just put up the slideshow.
Yeah, can you see it right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So stop, assess, think, socha machli bol, and okay. All right. So the next one is little things. Now, what are these little things? Little things play a very important role in our lives on a daily basis. So, for example, this is another incident that happened. We were traveling in a car from Mira Road to Kulaba, and we got stuck on the Worli ceiling, and because of a flat tire. And we were trying to get help, but there were cars that zoomed past us, and we were stuck over there for 45 minutes. Now, why I say little things is because the little thing that got us stranded over there was that the Stephanie, that is the spare tire, was locked on a small screw with a small nut. And then we didn't have the screwdriver to open it. And that nut was very small. So we got stuck over there for like 45 minutes. So the little things are extremely, extremely important. Befriend your thoughts. Now, this is something very important, that when you are thinking, or when you are in a stressful situation, and you have a lot of thoughts in your head and you cannot make sense of what you need to do. So for example, it could be anything. It could be like, you get into an argument with a friend, all right, and that thought comes into your mind, and you make a big picture out of it, all right, but the argument is a very small argument. So what you do in this situation is that whatever the thought is, okay, you accept your thought, all right, you befriend it. Because if, say, for example, I have to fight Tiger Shroff or Nawazuddin Siddiqui, I know that between these two guys, whom I will be able to beat up or take beating from. But if you have somebody which is imaginary, you will not know, or you will not be able to gauge whether you will be able to win that fight or not. So most of the time, what we struggle is that we are always fighting with our thoughts. We are not accepting those thoughts in our head, and we send a lot of energy to that thought. But what you need to do is that when you find yourself in the middle of that situation, you need to invoke other senses of your body, like your sight, your sound, and your voice. Because what happens is that when you invoke these other senses of your body, the energy from your thought, it gets disintegrated. So for example, I'm going through a really rough time. I did a major blunder. That thought is there in your mind. Speak about that thought. Okay. So when I speak about that thought, I made a huge blunder. By merely speaking about that thought, you are taking away the energy from your thought, and you are disintegrating it. So you're hearing what you're speaking, and for your sight, you stand in front of the mirror, right? You stand in front of the mirror and you look at yourself, because you always love yourself, right? And you wouldn't want anything bad to happen to you. So this is a small exercise which you need to follow. Accept challenges. Give me a second, guys. Okay.
So shall I share my screen?
No, 1 second. I am right over here. Okay. All right. So the next one is okay. So the next one is accept challenges. Now you know that the challenges could be, you know what, go and talk to the most attractive girl in the room, ask your boss to change the dress code in your organization, okay, plant a tree every week, learn a new art every 6 months, backpack around the world, go to the wildest party ever. Uh, and you know what the wildest party in the world is? Guys, come on, you have to know this. What is the wildest party? What is the craziest party in the world? It happens in the US, it happens in the desert. Does anybody know what party it is? No, not Tomorrowland, Mansi. It is not Tomorrowland. Uh, it ends with the word man. Okay, one clue. Okay, Swapnil Pawar, yes. Burning Man is the answer. Uh, try to attend that. It's like a life-changing experience. Then the next one is be kind. You know, there is no such thing as being kind. Like, so what would you do when you have to be kind? You adopt a pet. One second, guys. Okay. So you adopt a pet, or or adopt a baby. You know, there are enough babies that can be adopted, and we don't need to create any more life. You know, one act of kindness releases serotonin in our brains and creates a core memory, something that we can all fall back on in times of distress. The learners call it peak experience. So now why core memory is important is that whenever you are in a stressful phase of your life, you always want, like, good memories. You always look for laughter, and you always look for things that you can do. um, the next one is visit the dead. No, there is this thing which my dad always told me, that whenever you are extremely happy or you're extremely sad, you need to go and visit the dead, because it will bring an equilibrium in your life with your emotions and your feelings. You know, because when you are extremely sad, all right, you rather wish you're dead. But then you know that being dead, you can't achieve a lot. You can't ask for a raise of salary. You can't go out on a date. No, so you're better off alive than dead. So I would like to quote. This is something that I wrote specifically to address this. Is that death has its perks, but nothing beats living. Which means that eventually everybody is going to die. You know, our loved ones, our neighbors, our family. Okay, but nothing beats living, which means that when you are living, you have so much of problems, right? And when you overcome them, okay, that's when you come out as a winner, a person that, has a lot of experience, your knowledge, and that makes you respond to situations and make decisions. So it's very important. Go and visit the dead. All right. So the next one is express your emotions. Now, it is very simple, right? You love someone, say you love them. You are hurt, say you're hurt, and give them the reason why you feel hurt. Now, anger is just one alphabet away from danger, right? And many people earlier during the presentation said that how you respond to stress is by being angry. And I would say yes, you need anger is one of the most important emotions that we have to exercise, but there's always a but what we need to do is that we can never let anger dictate terms to us. All right. So anger is an emotion and it needs to be expressed. Now, there's another quote that I'd like to say over here is, this was when I was having a conversation with a very close friend, and I came up with this saying that express your anger, but do not let it control your expression. Express your anger, but do not let it control your expression. So this is very important, guys. Um, because sometimes we feel getting angry will, like, make us feel otherwise or whatever. So the next one is make mistakes. I don't need to say why you need to make mistakes, because making mistakes is the lifeblood of every innovation and a new idea that comes to your mind, right? The next one is dream. All right. There is this really close friend of mine, and she said, and she made this quote saying that dive in, make deep discoveries about yourself, about your roots, about your being, about your existence, your family, your friends, the person you are, your characteristics. So dive in, make deep discoveries. Don't be afraid to dream. But once you dream, do something with that dream. Work hard and show up again and again and again. The next one is forgive, because sometimes when we are so stressed out with our minds, we barely understand what it means to forgive, because we've all heard this quote, right? To err is human, to forgive divine. Again, increasing your capacity to accept, increasing your capacity to tolerate, increasing your capacity to understand what it is from the other person's point of view. All right. Whenever you make a decision, you always have to consider what the other person has to say. Okay. Never judge a person. That is the worst thing that you could do. The next one is laugh. Now, laughter is the best medicine, right? And we've all heard that. Uh, Now, eating food is a very intimate activity that one shares with one another, and so is laughing. And you are like 100% yourself when you are eating your food or you're laughing. You cannot fake it. Uh, and obviously, if we can laugh together, we can live together, right? And this is a very famous TED speaker quoted. Okay, laughter is where the miracle happens. It's a line where we are surprised that something is revealed, and from that surprise is released joy. So this is again Sheldon over here. He has a lot of stress in his mind, and he's obviously releasing his stress, okay, through a paper bag, but he's not doing anything with that stress. Now, if I show you the other GIF image over here, so the difference between these two images is, what I want to conclude is that do not use stress as a negative thing, but use it, okay, to make something more amazing, something more productive. All right. Because when you are stressed out, your body is always giving you signals of how you need to react to those signals, how you need to respond to the signals. Okay. So if you go back to my slides, you will know the 4 F's of fear and how you need to respond to this. So you are not, after this presentation, you are not going to be somebody who's like, completely stress free. Okay. Right now I have like 10,000 things on my mind and I am not stress free at all. So it is like a constant and a very important decision that we need to make of practicing these things, of always keeping ourselves occupied. And if you see, your mind is like that cooker over there. Okay, inside the cooker also you can make a lot of amazing things, you can make soup, you can make cake, you can bake, you can make pudding. And at the same time, if there is no outlet, to release the pressure, it is only going to blast. All right. But with that outlet, the stress, you can see that gentleman, the chef over there, he's saying, even with that outlet of pressure or stress, I can do something really amazing and creative. So that was all from my end, guys. This particular slide has some self-help guide of some links that you need to type in, and check it out on YouTube. And what I would recommend is that you know yourself better more than anybody else, right? And it is up to only you of how you need to take your level of understanding about yourselves and how you need to help yourselves. So uh, the first one is How to Channel Your Stress to Help You Succeed by Heidi Hanna. Then Generation Stress from Surviving to Thriving, Kristen Race. How to Humor Your Stress. This is a very amazing video on YouTube, and these are all TED speakers, guys. Loretta LaRoche. Then on Laughter, Anthony McCartan. So I've taken a little reference from these TED speakers. It is very important that we help ourselves and increase our knowledge and capacity of understanding ourselves even more. And one recommendation of a Netflix must-watch movie is Unorthodox. So this is something that I would definitely recommend you to watch, because it gives a lot of insight of cultures that are in the other end of the world, and how it expresses your feelings, your emotions, and at the same time not losing hope, not giving up hope. So that was all from me. I am ready to take questions if you have any, and I would also want to understand what have you guys been thinking so far about this whole presentation. Was it helpful to you guys? All right, guys. In the quick Q&A session, I want you guys to express what you felt, and what are you going to do, and whether you have any questions for me. So Jay, we are open to questions.
Yes, sir, we are. We have listed a few questions already from the chat box, and
Okay.
we're also running short of time, so maybe we'll be able to connect to them or send them messages or something like that. So
Yeah.
we were wanting to take the second poll. So if you're ready with that, can we just hear all of them?
Yes. So Jay, can you please explain what the poll is all about first? So before I just set up
you're going to hear this music next, and you have to tell us what do you feel relating to when you listen to that music. And there will be 4 options of emotions that will be given to you. You have to choose the most apt one that suits you currently.
Okay. Thank you, Jay. I'll just get that ready. All right. So here you go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. So we've just ended the poll, and All right. So it's only like a small percentage has said that it was a very sad. They felt very sad listening to the music, and then it's like 24% said it's happy. They felt happy, and 35% relaxed, but 38%, not a big percentage, but said it was intense. Which I would agree that this particular track is a very intense track, and because the musicians performing are like completely in their elements. They are very intense in their intense zone of creating music, and I would like to say to you that you have to listen to this track. It's called City of the Sun. It's an intro cover, and it is being played by the So Far Sounds, which is a music community. So once again, that was all from my end, and I hope you guys really enjoyed this presentation. And if you guys have any questions, Jai, can we take a couple of questions?
Yes, sure. So I'm going to just take a couple of them for now.
Yeah.
So one of it says how to deal with anxiety phobia.
All right. Anxiety phobia. All right. So if you say that it's a phobia, right? So it's never real. It is all in your mind. So when you have anxiety, you have to understand as to what triggers it. You need to be aware that what leads you to becoming anxious or becoming having that anxiety feeling in your body. That is the first step. So once you identify, all right, you need to work around a mechanism. Okay, if you just go through my slides again, first thing is you have to feel, you have to know, you have to be aware of what that is. And then I told you about befriending your thoughts. All right, if you have a thought about XYZ, you have to say it out loud as to what are you thinking that is causing anxiety. All right, because right now the anxiety increases, okay, if that thought in your mind is only generating and adding on to the energy. So the moment you feel anxious, all right, you need to collaborate with somebody, all right, and speak out exactly word by word of what you are thinking to a person. So the stress reactors, the stress responders is what you have to refer to, and pick and choose basis what you feel would be the best solution and option for you. But what I would say is, first thing, you need to be aware and you need to collaborate. Did that answer that question? I am hoping.
Yes, very much, very much. So like we can see, your presentation or what you've spoken to us, your time that you've given to us has actually covered all of the topics which now each person needs to correlate to, pick up
Yes.
things from there and understand and apply basically.
All right.
So we'll just take one last question, which will actually sum up the whole thing. So in today's society, everyone says that keeping busy can being busy can help us keep away from stress. So what is your thoughts on it? Because currently we are in the COVID period, homebound all the way for a very long period of time. And then is being busy really important, or can we be, because currently we have a lot of time with us in hand. So what is your thought about it?
All right. So thanks, Jai. And I personally relate to it because we all are busy, irrespective whether it was a COVID situation or it was just a normal situation in any of our lives. All right. Even in a normal situation, we are extremely busy. All right. But now this time has given us a little breather. Okay. And we have to just have a paradigm shift. You have to pivot from being busy and to understanding what is really important to you, like spending time with family, working on something that you do for a long time, reading a book, cooking, like video calling your friends, playing PUBG. So being busy but doing something very productive, all right, and the most important thing is that if you don't have anything to do, no, that is the best thing that you can do. Okay, it is art. It is an art of not doing anything. That is what the Italians practice, because sometimes we get engaged in so many things that we don't have time to just sit and not do anything. Like, our lives are so fast paced that we always want to do something or the other. Like, you want to do this, you want to do that, you want to do this, but at times just sit and not do anything. Yeah.
Nice, sir. On that note, I'm going to say we've learned a lot of things today, of which I'm going to take two major words, I think, which sums all of it. One is unagi, which is being self-aware, and which comes to the another word called as jagrukta. So being self-aware is the key to most of the things, most of the issues, or just dealing with life, enjoying life. So on that note, sir, we wish to express our sincere gratitude to you to take out your time today and share your knowledge and experiences to our viewers. The students are really, the chat box is full with their comments and remarks that they really enjoyed the session, which actually gives us the feel. We will be having more such sessions, which will help be better prepared for the corporate world. So, which is every day, Monday to Friday at 11 a.m. And Saturday, you get to hear more speakers, as we will be live at 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. as well. For further updates, you can follow the social media handles. You can also follow mission.skills on Instagram and Facebook. We would love to hear your feedback, and you can tag us in your stories and posts. I would like to announce that tomorrow we have session on dressing etiquettes at 11 a.m. So if you haven't registered until now, just go ahead and do it. Share it with your friends and make the most of the sessions while you're at home. Registration links will be available on our social media handles. A big thank you to the organizing committee of Mission Skills, and a big thanks to all the attendees of today's webinar for their kind presence and the kind of feel that they have given to us today. Thank you to all the people who have directly and indirectly contributed to this webinar. Stay fit, stay home. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow at 11 a.m.
And be aware.
Be aware. Jagrukta.
Guys, that's my mobile number over there and my Instagram handle. If you guys want to reach out to me, please do. And we can also have fun listening to music. I also in the city, I also organize house concerts. And if there are any musicians or artists out there, I would really urge them to get in touch with me so that we can collaborate and do something besides your work, and besides everything, we can have a lot of fun together. So thank you very much, everybody. And thank you, Jai, and the entire panelists, and everyone over there who took 1.5 hour time to hear me out. I know I can be a pain sometimes, but thank you very much, everyone. And I really enjoyed this first session of mine in terms of a webinar. So I really look forward to hearing from you guys. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you so much, everyone. Stay home, stay safe.